The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker. I have it on good authority that is true. I've got a signed affidavit to show that that is who I am, and all of me and that. This is the Sciforror Film Podcast, and we are here to review films. I am here, as always, with my son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm loving the fact that my laptop's playing up a little bit.
You better.
Oh, you just said you've got whatever you said about the fact you.
Affidavit.
That's one. An affidavit that says so, but my speaker's cut out, so it sounded like you said you've got a friend, David.
Well,
You've got a friend, David, that tells you who you are every day.
I've got a few people I know called David.
Yeah, but I don't think any of them message you and go, "You're Andy today."
Well, they might. Sometimes I need reminding. I used to have a little note inside my jacket, have my name on it.
You have to remember to look in the pocket.
So, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm hating the fact the weather's changed as much as it has. I know this is going to make me sound really old, but it's suddenly got very cold, and it's really annoying me.
Cold and windy and wet and horrible out there in the good old U of K.
I have realised how old I'm getting, because I'm pretty sure like a few years ago I could go out no problem, just wearing a t-shirt in the weather like this. And I found myself earlier going out just to the shops. I had like two layers of trousers on, my boots, thick socks, I had a t-shirt and a shirt, my hoodie on, and my coat over the top, and a woolly hat.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I've been thinking I might get myself a pair of gloves.
My hands are normally in my pockets. It's not a problem. But I've like, for obviously people listen to this, the fact that me and Dad have got the same sort of, is the fact that with no hair in your head, it does get very cold, and obviously mine's by choice. So
wait, mine's by choice too. I shave my head.
Okay. Mine's more by choice, but but it's just. But I've realised I did it the other day, and then it suddenly got really cold, and I went out to the shops and to pick up my kids from school, and I sat down like my head felt like an ice cube.
Yeah, so my problem was the fact that I had a receding hairline, and it was receding to the point where it kind of it looked like it was low tide all the time. So I always got the description. It wasn't the description of me. It was my friend Nick, his description of himself, where he said he was devilishly balding and slightly handsome at the front.
Yeah, well, that just explains a lot about Nick, really.
Any road up. Right, so this week we have 2 short films and a longer film. Yes, we have a horror, sci-fi, and a horror. So should we get going, shall we? Shall we? Yeah. Why the hell not? So the first film is a short horror film from 2019, and it is called Casting Couch. This is done through Cinesisters Productions, who I only discovered recently. And this actually was the last film that's on their YouTube channel, but we're going to have to do some of their others because they do some really good stuff. It was written by Millie Sanders, directed by Matt Thyssen, and Justin Lee. And the cast is Jesse Foundry, Millie Sanders, Dave Stambra, Sarah Numi, Yasmin Saeed, Tyler Richmeyer, Rachel Benzira, and David Bishk. The synopsis for this film says, since the dawn of Hollywood, an evil has been lurking in the shadows, feeding off the insecurities of auditioning actors and actresses. It has grown stronger over the decades, consuming hopes and dreams with reckless abandon. But in 2019, has it finally met its match? Dun, dun, dun. So, what did you think?
I'd like to add a sort of disclaimer to this. Do not just Google casting couch.
Okay.
I'm not going to go much into it because I don't know the age range of people who listen to this. Just take on my word, don't. Um, Especially if you've got a safety filter on because it sent my internet more wild. But I I liked the beginning part of this,
Mm.
like the way that it was set throughout the different time periods and the way that they done it. I thought was very well done. It did sort of become more of a comedy for me.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Don't get me wrong, it didn't take away from the film for me. I still found it quite funny and I still liked it. But I think there were parts of it just tried a little bit too hard to be a comedy rather than the horror bit.
I think the thing was they were trying to put over a serious message, a comedy horror film.
Yeah,
For me, I don't know. I don't think that the humour watered down the message, and
no,
maybe yeah, I know what you mean. It was trying a bit hard in a few places, but I think sometimes comedy is very difficult to get right. And the other thing about it is it's very subjective, even more than horror and drama, because of the fact that what one person finds really funny, another person will really not find funny at all. I mean, we've proved that already.
yeah,
You know, I could, you know, if anyone's listened to any of the episodes of my other podcast, they can see immediately that there are some things that I do not find funny. Um, but I mean, this is supposed it's subtitled an audition horror short, which I thought was quite good. I
yeah,
don't know. I really like it because one of the things I like is there is this kind of this Hollywood story about the casting couch and the directors using that to lure innocent victims into their webs and all that sort of thing. And with 2019 was the kind of time when they were doing the whole sort of Me Too movement and all
yeah.
that kind of thing. So this was quite an important kind of serious state
Mm.
message in that. And I think it does it well, but yeah, I do get what you're saying about the comedy element being a bit too overdone in a few places.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like it. I really like the film. I thought it's a very well made film. And as you see, yeah, I agree with you. I like the bit at the beginning where they've got all the different and actors from different sort of time periods going through the same kind of audition office. That was really clever.
What I liked about this as well, actually, is the fact that this, for me, could actually be split into two films, or could have been done both ways. Sorry, they could have made this film, could have left this film exactly where it is, even just shortened it down to
Yeah,
just that first bit, and then where it comes up with the scene, would have been perfect because it is the same thing. It's that same message. The fact that there's this darkness behind everything,
yeah, yeah.
and it's been stretching back. It's not just. It's going to sound like I'm trying to be horrible to people that are doing the stuff nowadays, but it's not just a modern thing.
No.
It's not just people pushing their luck. It's not just dark people now or people sort of trying to push their luck. It's been going on for a long time,
Oh yeah. I mean the
and
whole
it's got to the point now where people are starting to listen.
yeah,
But when it started, like it shows in this video back when like sort of black and white video of this, it wasn't sort of believed that much because of the fact that people were like, yeah, whatever. And it's only say now recently, sort of like late 90s, 2000s, where people have gone, maybe we should listen.
yeah.
And that's what they actually put that over in this film. I do like that.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I agree. I think it's. I mean, it's a good story. It's well written. It's well. I think it's well made. Yeah. I think some of it could have been done a little bit differently, but I really liked it. I really thought it was good. And I think looking at a lot of their other films, they do have this thing of putting over these kind of these messages in a kind of slightly comedic way, but it doesn't really, for me, detract from the message. It's still there isn't anything I've seen on there that makes me think, oh, I don't, this is making it all very silly, and it's not making the
Well,
point they're trying to make. You know,
what I thought about it is the fact that it was almost like you get to the end of the film and it like the whole message, like you said, it doesn't take away from the film. It doesn't like distract from it. But you sit at the end of it and go, you actually realise that what they're trying to say. It's not like you get halfway through it and go, oh, get to the end of it. It's like, right, you sort of you got your money's worth out of that. You carried it on. You sort of drained it dry. But it was at the end of it, you got to it. And you're like, yeah, I understand what you're trying to say now. It's not,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
right, it's over and done with. Carry on. It's now okay. It is the fact that people are taking notice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I really like it though. I really thought it was good. Was good, good, good.
Hmm.
Okay, on to the second short film. The second short film is from 2018, although disclaimer, as we've always put on here,
Yes,
it's on Dust. And sometimes the date that they have on there is just the date that it's gone up on Dust rather than the date that it was actually made.
could have been
Um,
made ages before, or even ages after.
I thought you didn't believe in time travel.
I don't believe in time travel.
Okay,
I was
but
just wanting to see if anyone was going to pay attention.
anyway, this is a film from 2018, as I say, called Home, and it is on Dust. Written, directed, and edited by Blake Calhoun. And the cast is Melanie Murkowski and Josh Roberts. They're the two main cast members. The synopsis for this film, I'm going to shorten slightly from the one that is on the film on YouTube because it's about 3 pages long. And I mean, this is long enough as it is, but I've kind of paraphrased a few bits and sort of shortened it up a bit. The other thing is, if you read the full synopsis, you don't really need to watch the film that much.
No,
But
I have found that a lot with a lot of Dust stuff when they put it up. Is the fact that it sort of describes the whole film. You're like, okay, I don't want to watch it now because I know what's
yeah.
there.
So the synopsis says 24 years ago, Terry's 11-year-old sister went missing and never came back. The newspapers all said she was abducted. The trauma of that event haunts Terry to this very day, but not because her sister's gone, but because Terry didn't get to go with her. She didn't get to go back home. Today, she receives a signal that she believes is from her sister and her home planet. Yeah. It's not a bad film. I did think it was a bit too long, a bit over long.
Yeah,
The thing it doesn't tell you in the synopsis, which I think should really be said, is the fact that although Terry's 11-year-old sister went missing, she was actually the one that went missing was one of triplets. There were three of them, all identical triplets.
yeah.
Um, which is not explained in that, but it's there you go.
Well, to be honest, it's not actually explained in the film until, unless you're paying proper attention
Yeah, it's
and
not.
read the newspaper article.
Yeah, it's not really spelt out that well in the film,
No,
but it kind of becomes.
it becomes obvious at the end.
Yeah. Um, I mean, the effects are pretty good.
Hmm.
The effects are good, and I think the idea is really good. It's a great idea. The fact that these three girls don't actually come from here and they're being taken home. It didn't do that much for me as a film, to be honest. It wasn't bad. It's not a bad film. It's but it's a bit long and it's a bit kind of like, yeah, you know,
Hmm. Yeah, no, I'll give you a minute. I see. I like the science behind the films. Obviously, they show the whole work, her working out of obviously making sure that the shape was the right size and the right place and everything like that. And I
yeah,
like the fact they showed that. but yeah, I agree with you. It seemed to draw itself out a lot more. It sort of could have been shortened down a lot for what I think. And to be honest, the actual part of it I liked more was just her when it was
Yeah,
just in silence and her working it out, and the husband sitting on the bed and reading through the article. I preferred more because you're sort of having to piece it together.
yeah,
It was just silence. There wasn't any talking. I think
Well, I
that's
mean,
what made it better.
I was something I was going to say is it's another one of these films that we've come across where there isn't much in the way of dialogue at all, and it kind of it works really well. It's an interesting thing. Is that the short films quite often work really well with no dialogue.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do a whole feature film like that. That'd be an interesting one.
Well, we've seen a feature film where someone doesn't talk the whole way through it.
Yeah,
A big actor, but
but I'm just thinking a feature film where nobody talks. There's no dialogue at all.
silent movies, weren't
Yeah, yeah, but you still have a think dialogue. But no, I mean, I still think I think it's not a bad movie. I think it's a sci-fi movie. Go, we've seen a lot worse. Seen a lot worse short
That
movies.
is definitely true.
I mean, it's it's not as bad as some of the short sci-fi films we've seen. It's not as good as others. I'm kind of torn, really, because it's not bad, but
No,
it's
it's not. It's weird. It's not a bad film. If it's a weird thing to say, and I was just literally just thinking about if it was put out on any other like anyone else had put it out, like if it had been put out, say like done it privately, I think it probably would have. I wouldn't have felt so weird about it because of the fact that Dust endorsed it and they've put money to it. It's almost like the sort of it's a bit sort of it's a naff because of the fact that the other stuff that they've endorsed and they've put money towards.
yeah, no,
And it's just it's really weird. It's horrible to say because don't get me wrong, the film's it's a good idea, but I think if they had done it themselves, it might have been a bit of a better review.
I know what you mean. Yeah, but I don't know. It's difficult to tell, really. I mean, it'd be nice to see some other stuff by the same people to see what what other things they've done and what other ideas they've got and that sort of thing.
Yes.
But there you go. Right, so on to our feature film now. Once again, as we seem to be stuck in the 80s this season, for some reason we seem to be quite happily stuck in the 80s. We're going to 1987 and a anthology, as they're called now, anthology film called From a Whisper to a Scream.
Yeah.
Now, this was directed by Jeff Burr. He was also one of the writers, but I'll go through his directing stuff first. This was his first feature film. He did some TV and short films in the 80s, 90s, and 2010s. He also directed Stepfather 2, Make Room for Daddy in 1989, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 in 1990, Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings, 1993, Puppet Master 4 in 1993, which went straight to video, Puppet Master 5 in 1994, which went straight to video, Night of the Scarecrow, which I didn't for some reason write down a date for, but never mind, must have been probably 1995 or 6. Johnny Misto, Boy Wizard, 1997, which went straight to video. Spoiler in 1998. The Werewolf Reborn, 1998. Phantom Town, 1999, which went straight to video. The Boy with X-Ray Eyes in 1999. Straight into Darkness, 2004. Frankenstein and the Werewolf in 2005. Devil's Den, 2006. Mil Mascaras versus the Aztec Mummy in 2007. Resurrection in 2010, Puppet Master Blitzkrieg Massacre in 2018, and American Resurrection in 2022. Yeah. So, now, on the writing side, he wrote The Boy with X-Ray Eyes in 1999 and Straight into Darkness in 2004. The other writers, we have C. Courtney Joyner, who also writes under the name of Gene Yarborough.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Did some TV and short stuff in the 2000s. Also had to do with the writing of Prison in 1987, Class of 1999 in 1990, Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge in 1991, which went straight to video, Dr. Mordred in 1992, Trancers 3 in 1992, Lurking Fear 1994, Veronica 2030 in 1999, Nautilus in year 2000, Devil's Prey in 2001, Trancers 6 in 2002, which went straight to video, Mega Scorpions in 2003, Puppet Master The Legacy in 2003, which went straight to video, Tomb of Terror in 2004, which went straight to video, and Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys in 2004. Yeah. The other writer was Darren Scott. Did some TV short stuff in 2010s and 2020s. Who wrote Tales from the Hood in 1995, Dark House in 2009, Tales from the Hood 2 in 2018, went straight to video, American Nightmares in 2018, and Tales from the Hood 3 in 2020, which went straight to video. There was also another guy who wrote some parts for this called Mike Malone, who has done nothing else in the way of writing because he normally works for the art department. So I don't quite know what he wrote for this, but there you go. The cast. Now, the cast. Let's start off with Vincent Price.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to read through a list of all of the films that Vincent Price is in. If you wish to have a listen to a full list of all the films that Vincent Price is in, please check out episode 19 of season 3 of this podcast, where we did the Dr. Phibes films, and you will have a complete list of all of the films he's been in.
That episode is just the films he's been in.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's a review of 2 of his films with just a list of all the films he's been in. Now, I didn't do all of the list of all of the cast of this because there's actually 49 people listed on IMDb. So, yeah, I went through some of the main ones, and I will make a comment about a couple of other things. But Clue, I don't know how you say it, Clue Gulaga. Clue Gulaga. I'll try that again. Clue Gulaga. It's some TV short stuff in the 50s, 70s, 80s, and 2000s. He was in A Force of One in 1979, The Initiation in 1984, Return of the Living Dead in 1985, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge in 1985, Hunter's Blood 1986, The Hidden 1987, Teen Vamp in 1989, The Willies in 1990, which went straight to video, Puppet Master 5 in 1994, which went straight to video, Jacqueline Hyde, 2005, which went straight to video. Do you get that? Jacqueline Hyde.
Yeah.
Feast in 2005, Feast 2, Sloppy Seconds in 2008, which went straight to video, Feast 3, The Happy Finish in 2009, which went straight to video, Piranha 3DD in 2012, and Children of the Corn Runaway, which was 2018, which went straight to video. Then we have Terry Kaiser, who did some TV short stuff in the 70s, 80s, and 2000s. He was also in Looker in 1981, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood in 1988, Dead Star in 2009, Mask Maker 2011, Speed Demons 2012, Vampire Riders, that's with a Z, 2013, and Rose Blood, a Friday the 13th fan film in 2021. Quite interesting. I don't normally find people who've been in the films being in the fan films, but there you go.
Yeah.
Then we have Henry Caesar, who did some TV and short stuff in the 70s and 80s. Now, he's only been in 2 films. He was in Retribution in 1987 and Stranded in 1987. And we have Rosalind Cash, who was in TVs and shorts in 80s and 90s. She was in The Omega Man in 1971, Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde, 1976. This film, Phil, is absolutely brilliant. This next one, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, in 1984. It's a great film. Death Spa in 1988 and Tales from the Hood in 1995. Then we have Cameron Mitchell. Did some TV and short stuff in the 50s, 70s, and 80s. Cameron Mitchell may be known to quite a few people who are of an older persuasion as playing Uncle Buck in The High Chaparral for many years on television. He did lots of westerns when he was starting out. But anyway, as well as the stuff we're concerned goes, although I will make a comment about one thing in a minute.
Oh dear.
He did a film. He did Flight to Mars in 1951, Island of the Doomed in 1967, Autopsia de un Fantasma in 1968, which was obviously so good they didn't even bother doing an English translation of it. Nightmare in Wax in 1969, The Dream of Hamish Mose in 1969, Haunts in 1976, The Swarm in 1978, Island of the Fishmen in 1979, Supersonic Man in 1979, The Silent Scream in 1979, The Demon 1979, Without Warning 1980, Captive 1980, Frankenstein Island in 1981, Raw Force 1982, Bloodlink 1982, Night Train to Terror 1985, Mutant War in 1988, which went straight to video, Space Mutiny in 1988, Traps Alive in 1988, Memorial Valley Massacre in 1989, Terror Night 1989, Demon Cop in 1990, and Jacko in 1995. Now, this man who started out playing, doing Western roles, mainly sort of cowboys and things like that, who did in a lot of the films he was in, he played a cop.
Yeah.
In some of the horror films and all that sort of thing, he played a cop or a soldier of some kind. But apparently, this is the thing that freaks me out completely. 1957, a historical, a biblical epic film called The Robe came out.
Yeah.
And he provided the voice for Jesus. Completely uncredited, but he provided the voice for Jesus in that film, which is so bizarre.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's thrown me, that is. What?
No. There we have Susan Tyrrell. Did some TV and short stuff in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. She was also in Bad in 1977, Forbidden Zone in 1980, Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker in 1981. What's Up, Hideous Sun Demon in 1983. It was just the voice of a rabbit in that, apparently. I think that she was playing this kind of Bugs Bunny part in a horror film. I don't know. Rockula in 1990, Digital Man in 1995, The Devil's Due at Midnight in 2004, which went straight to video, The Boneyard Collection in 2008. Then we have Martine Bezic, who did some TV and short stuff in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He was in Dr. Jekyll's Sister Hyde in 1971, Seizure in 1974, Cyclone 1987, Trancers 2 in 1991, Evil Spirits 1991, Critters 4 in 1992, which went straight to video, Night of the Scarecrow 1995, House of Gorgon 2019, Cowgirls versus Pterodactyls in 2021, just the voice that was there, and Saturnalia in 2022.
Oh my God.
We have Ron Brooks, who did some TV and short stuff in the 80s. The only other film we did apart from this that we would be interested in is Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 in 1990. Now, that's all I've done of the main cast. There are some others, and the only one that really I was interested in at all is there's one of the short stories, and this is set in a sort of carnival thing, and the guy who plays the I don't know what the correct term is now nowadays, the dwarf,
the dwarf
the
person is
person
probably
of shorter stature, or whatever you want to call them, was also in the film 1940s film with Todd Browning's Freaks, which it's a great film. If you've never seen Freaks, it's a brilliant film to watch.
It is.
So the synopsis for this story, according to IMDb, which doesn't actually fit the story at all, to be honest with you, is in a small Tennessee town, a historian relates 4 horror stories to a reporter.
Yeah.
Now, what that doesn't tell you is that the reporter has just seen the historian's daughter be put to death for murder.
Yeah.
And the historian is not just telling her relating 4 horror stories, he's telling her the story of the town.
Yeah, I would say there's if you want a proper, obviously it does run through the whole thing, but a proper synopsis sort of idea of what this film is probably best actually going on Wikipedia. I know that could be adapted by anyone, but it is actually so close.
But it does tell you the entire story, so you don't.
Yeah, I know, but that the prologue bit actually is more of a description to that than what.
True. So, what did you think?
Now, I'm in two. I say this all the time, but I'm in two minds about this.
Right.
Mainly because of the fact that I was really hyped up about the fact it was a Vincent Price film, even though he's actually technically only in it for about 10 minutes altogether. But I don't know. I liked it in parts. I think there's a couple of them. There's one of the um. There's like work one of the um anthology films, like the actual first one, the Stanley one. I just it. I get the fact that they were telling the story, and I get the fact that it's meant to be gruesome, but it freaked me out more because of what was going on in it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I did like this film. I think it's a very, very well done film. Um, it's a very good way of um, just showing the sort of history of what's gone on in the town
Yeah.
without actually going sort of, oh, back in that day, this is just telling stories of one person, but then obviously explaining a bit more about the area. And
Yeah.
I think that's very well done. It's just it's very weird though to have so many different types of ideas in one film, because obviously you've got, like I said, Stanley is got the sort of mutant. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be classed as, if it was a zombie or just a mutant or what, I don't know. And then
Oh,
obviously you've got the sort of voodoo side of it as well
yeah.
from the next one, and then the other bits. And it's very weird to sort of, especially for me, to see a film from like the 80s and early 90s, sort of, to have such a wide range of things put into it. It's normally sort of a focused idea, especially for anthology films. It's normally sort of around one sort of area of horror.
Yeah. I do know what you mean. It reminds me a bit of some of the older anthology films when they used to do that a bit more, sort of like it was just a random selection of short stories put together, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, this isn't the best anthology film I've ever seen,
No.
but it works well within the context of what the story is about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The first one is more than a little disturbing.
Yeah.
But and the effects aren't necessarily the best they could have been, but I liked it. I really I liked watching it. It's bizarre. Maybe I think there's more disturbing about me than I thought. But I think all of the stories have a kind of disturbing quality to them. There's something about them that's just not quite. It's a bit more than you expect from the story.
Yeah, it's what I like about it as well. about this is the fact that they're not all at the same point. If you go, I mean, like
Yeah,
obviously Stanley, you put it sort of at the end. Well, it's sort of all the way through it, actually, I suppose. But the next one, which is the was it on the run bit or whatever it was, like, where they're
yeah,
talking about the gangster guy. That's more sort of that sort of shock factor at the end with
yeah,
what's going on, and the same with the other bits as well. There's sort of the one after that. Sort of again, it's a bit of a shocking thing the whole way through the way the carnival one, but
yeah,
it's sort of halfway through. But again, it's a shock right sort of. There's one in the middle and one at the end to it, and then the last one is sort of again stuck in the middle, the sort of factor to it, but it's sort of obvious the whole way through, and it just makes it that more shocking.
yeah. I mean, I just say that there are they've all got bit sort of disturbing qualities to them, bits to them. Some of the effects, I love all of the stories, and I think the effects are good. Um, when you think about the age of the film, when you think about what they could do and couldn't do at the time, I think the effects are pretty good. There are a few that are not quite as good as others, but on the whole, I think that the effects are really good and they work really well. Um, my favourite one, I think, is the last story,
Oh, what the one about
the one about
the Civil War?
the Civil War, and I don't know why, but I really I found that really fascinating, that whole thing.
Mm.
And I think maybe it was, and that's very disturbing as well. But I think that's mainly because of the fact that it's got so many, it's like
Yeah,
children in it doing
I've,
the things that you would normally
yeah.
see children do.
I've got to admit, that's it's one thing I have realised since, especially since having kids of my own, is the fact I used to be able to watch films sort of go, oh yeah, that's funny because there's kids in it, but
Yeah,
nowadays I sort of sit there and go, especially with it's weird as well now for a lot of stuff that's going on nowadays. But to sit and actually go, these kids have had to do this.
yeah,
Especially like obviously now there's a lot more stuff for kids in films and stuff like young adults and all that in films that's a lot more protective of them of their mental health and stuff like that. But to do a film like this that early on,
yeah,
where you've literally got to set fire to someone and the kid that has made it look like he pulled someone's eye out and tried to put it into his friend's head must have terrified him.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a bit of a yeah,
Yeah, it's one like I've said this before. Like with a lot of kids things, I'm in awe sometimes of children actors, especially when they're really good. But the fact that these kids have had to do what they do or what they've done in this film, and it's sort of a time when no one really cared anyway if they didn't like it.
well, yeah, I
But
know.
to be able to do it as well as they did,
Yeah,
especially the lead child in this.
I mean, it has got some, as I say, it's quite a hell of a lot of stuff for them to do. It's yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I again, I sometimes worry about myself when I say these things on here, but I actually enjoyed watching this film,
Yeah,
and I would be quite happy to watch it again. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to actually watch it again with a group of friends. We just sit around and watch it. It'd just be fun to watch with a group of people who could just
yeah.
enjoy it and kind of
I will say, there were parts of this film that I sort of chuckled at, but none as much as the last bit with Vincent Price.
yeah,
That he's sitting there talking to the reporter, and she's sad about how dark it is, and the the slight, not slight, but the very obvious winks, H.P. Lovecraft and
yeah,
all of everyone that they mention in this film, and to have obviously he was at the time, but now to have such an iconic horror actor turn around and go, they're my masters,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
the ones that basically taught him everything. And I just sit there, just the fact that they make all their comments in this and actually sort of do a big sort of say hello to him because of the fact
yeah,
that
yeah.
they, if it wasn't for their ideas and their minds, then there was a lot of these films that probably wouldn't ever be made.
Absolutely, yeah.
That I will say that there is a slight sort of show to it in the what's it called, in the carnival one, but actually it's called Lovecraft
Yeah,
Carnival.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
there is a lot there is a lot of this that I think probably would be better if it didn't come from their minds. But I don't
The
know.
only thing I would
It's
say is that the one effect in the entire film that I was a little bit more kind of, oh dear, that's not good about, was right at the end when she puts this knife into Vincent Price's neck, and the one that's sticking out of his neck is so obviously rubber
yeah.
because it's sitting there going. "Blah, blah, 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 blah,"
What I
while
think's funny though is the fact that a lot of people, both before and after this film, all know that if you do damage to the throat, you can't talk.
yeah, well,
But yet he has a knife put through his throat and is dying, yet still manages to say, "Welcome to Old Town."
it's,
Like,
it's poetic license.
yeah, but again,
Not
it's weird.
real.
It's weird for me watching a horror film with Vincent Price dies. It doesn't feel right knowing that he died at the end of it.
It's
But
not real, you know.
I know it's not real. I'm glad it's not real. But
It
again, I think this is such a great film to
is
have done.
it is a good. It's. I'm glad we watched it because I've never seen this one before either. So I'm really glad I watched it because it's got some good stuff in it, and it was fun to watch. It was an enjoyable watch as far as a horror film goes.
Yeah,
So
was
okay, so there we go. We had Casting Couch, which is a good watch, good film to watch, and it's got a message behind it, which is pretty
message
cool.
pick behind it.
Um, then we've got Home, which was not a bad film, but I personally think it was a bit overlong, but it's worth a look. And then we have From a Whisper to a Scream, which I personally really enjoyed and I would quite happily sit and watch again. So I recommend it. Anybody out there who's into 80s horror movies, or if you haven't seen this one, go and watch it because I think you'll love it.
Yeah, it's a very good way to spend almost 2 hours. I've watching a lot of films over the last 3 years. We've done this
Yeah.
where I've sat there and gone, oh, I really wish I could. I really a couple of times where I actually wished that I believed in time travel, or I could go back and go, don't watch it, just don't. But let's say this, I genuinely loved.
Well, next week we have two shorts and a long again. And next week's feature film is a science fiction film, which, strangely enough, comes from the 1980s. And it's a film called Extro, which is different, shall we say.
Well, that always worries me when you pause like that and try and think of a word to explain it.
Well, I must admit, I haven't seen this film.
Oh,
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
yeah, that always worries me. Like, especially it worries me more with films that you've seen when you try and explain it and you're like, wow, and I'm like, oh, great, this is gonna. Oh,
Well, we've only got we've
don't
got
say it. Don't say it until we've got until Christmas.
we've got three more normal episodes,
Oh dear.
and then we have our Christmas special, which will be interesting to say the least.
Yes.
I've already worked out what we're doing for the Christmas special. So,
Yeah, not the fact that you've had this plan since the beginning of the year.
of course, I have planned and replanned these episodes a number of times, for different reasons. Some of them because of the fact that the films are no longer available on YouTube. Some of them because of the fact that I chose a film which I watched. It worked out was the version on YouTube was in such an awful condition. It was so
Yeah.
dreadful. I mean, that was what happened with the Tokyo Gore Police. I was so looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, I was the same. So looking forward to that. I started watching it, and I was like, I've seen better quality looking through paint.
Yeah,
It was so annoying.
couldn't see what was going on at all, so that we had to scrap that idea. So yeah, maybe what we'll do is we'll try something different next year. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Let's get this year done and out of the way first. So thank you, Scott.
Well, I was going to say before you say thank you, I do want to. I know it's bigging up you a little bit, but I want to say thank you to the Film Lunchbox. For anyone that doesn't know or hasn't listened to the other ones, then obviously you need to go back and listen to them. But the Film Lunchbox have helped Dad and John Provolavis, who we've had interviews with and we've done reviews, put their film out onto to the world for you lot to see. And I want to say, from me, I appreciate it because of the fact that it shows a lot of what they think of the film for a start. The
Yeah,
fact that they put it on their platform and help push it out. And people need to go out and watch it. If this is now your time to now go and watch it and see the fact that me and Simon weren't just trying to boost people up and sort of make John and Dad have big heads. We genuinely like the film, and go and let us know what you think because I'm sure it will do great.
thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, big thank you to Deformed Lunchbox. They've done us really proud on that. And yeah, go and check it out. Well, I will. We subscribe to Deformed Lunchbox's
Yes.
channel. The production company does, and myself I do on YouTube.
Same here.
And yeah,
They're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. I'm sure you can find them somewhere.
Look out for Deformed Lunchbox. We've reviewed a number of their films and put links up to them to their website or to their YouTube channel. So go and check out their films. Go and check out the Hand That Feeds You, which has just gone up today, and let us know what you think of everything.
Yep.
And yes, thank you for that, Scott. That's very good of you. So we will be back next week with more of the same, only different.
I was going to say more of the same. Well, we're watching the same films again.
More of the.
Then watch the same films again and see if we get a different reaction.
More of a similarity. More of a simile.
More of a simile.
More of a simile.
Simulation.
Simulation. More of a simulation. More of a simian.
Hang on.
More of a simian. Planet of the Apes.
More of a simpleton.
Yes, that's probably more like it.
Yeah, we're going to be back with more of a simpleton.
During the meanwhilest, have a good time. Be good to yourself and others.
You can't be good to others, then just ignore them.
If you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful,
don't get caught.
Oh, you said it. Oh no. Yeah, if people get in trouble, they'll blame us.
I've been blamed for a lot.
Yes, so thank you very much, and everybody. Thank you very much, and everybody, for the feeling of there. And when you get down to the whole bit, it gets into your ears and seeps out your nose a bit. But don't worry about it because it'll all come out in a while. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.